Hello students, a very good morning. Students, today we will study Rupert Brooke's poem The Soldier. It's not a poem but it's a sonnet. So Rupert Brooke's sonnet The Soldier. This this sonnet was written during the first year of World War First. World War First was begin in 1914, and this sonnet, the soldier, is in the last of his groups of six war sonnets, collectively titled 1914, along with its companion poems. The soldier represents many of the patriotic and traditional ideas that characterized pre-war England, with Brooke portraying death for one's country as a noble end, and England as the noblest country for which to die. These poems made Brooke famous when they were first published in the periodical New Numbers in January of 1915, and a few months later, Dean Inge of St. Paul's Church read for them as part of his Easter Sunday sermon. The soldier inspired many imitators and was in large part responsible for the popularity of Brooke's 1914 and other poems and collected poems, which combined sold more than 30,000 copies between 1915 and 1925. As officer in the Royal Navy, Brooke never saw action in the war. He died of a fever in the Mediterranean shortly after writing The Soldier. I mean to say this poem. Before the war, he had been considered England's most promising young poet, and his death was taken by many as a symbolic passing of his generation's promise. Modern readers and critics, however, often consider Brooke's patriotic emotion to have naive and even old-fashioned. Still, the poems immediately and earnestness effectively capture a period in which the carnage of World War I had not yet damped the spirits of the English people. Indeed, when speaking about Brooke and his poetic contributions, including this poem, The Soldier, shortly after the poet's death, Winston Churchill said, the thoughts of which he gave expression in the very few incomparable war sonnets which he has left behind will be shared by many thousands of young men moving resolutely and blithely forward into this, the hardest, the cruelest, and the least rewarded of all his work that men have ever fought. So come to this. Now we will come to the read this text of this poem. I mean to say this sonnet. Okay. If I should die, think only this of me, that there is some corner of a foreign land, foreign field that is forever England. There shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed. What is the meaning of these four lines? If I should die, think only this of me. The poet wants to be consider us to think only this, whatever, that there is some corner of a foreign field that is forever England, that the place where I die, that will be forever for England. There shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed. And we have to think that a richer dust is hidden where the poet has died. So the title immediately alerts us that this poem will be about a type of person rather than an individual, or expectations then are for generalization about soldiers. The fact that Rupert Brooke was a member of British Royal Navy lends authenticity to his description of a British soldier's mindset. The first sentence begins with the conditional if. Uh, if ask the readers to respond to the speaker's death in a particular way. What kind of death? Death by war. no the particular way, and the death of a patriot, death in war. So we are given no detail about the death itself, which is telling what our first, often called the Great War, resulted in countless casualties, including almost 1 million British soldiers, most of them dying in the trenches of a foreign field, not their own field. The absence of detail then, and the focus on the life underscore the idea that dying in a war for one's country is a noble act, giving oneself for the greater good. The speaker shows no remorse, no questioning of his role. Instead, he expresses a self-sacrificial, martyr-like attitude toward his death by making his own dead body a symbol for all of England. The speaker requests all he be remembered not for any individual trait or act, but only for how he represented. And uh, I think there is some problem in it. Sorry, there was some technical problem in connection. Now we will resume. So I think the first stanza, the first 4 lines of this sonnets are very clear to all of you. Now come to the second. A dust, we are talking for the dust. A dust, I am reading the last fourth line. In that richer earth a richer dust concealed, and then fifth line, a dust whom England bore, shaped, made aware, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of England's breathing English air, washed by rivers, blessed by sons of home. Now he is talking about the dead person, the dust of dead person whom England bore. A dead person, he was born in England, shaped, he was grown up and made aware of everything, gave once her flower to love, it provide flower and a life, her ways to roam, and it England teach that particular soldier how to move about. A body of England's breathing English air, mean the person, a particular person lived in England, washed by the rivers and washed in its river, blessed by son of home. All these details are about that particular soldier. So these lines elaborate on the significance of the rich dust that is indicated in the line number 4. The speaker continues to represent his own body and life as dust, detailing how his country bore, nurtured, and shaped him. The flowers, rivers, and sun are characteristic of British countryside where Brooke was born and raised. Together, these images create an idealized version of pastoral England, which was passing away even as Brooke wrote about it. Brooke is often classified as a Georgian poet, along with others such as Walter de la Mare, John Masefield, and Ralph Hodgson, because of his use of nature imagery and his conventional approach to description. He was also instrumental in ending the series of Georgian poetry anthologies in which he, along with these other writers, appeared. They were called Georgian because they wrote during the reign of King George V, and King George V ruled over England from 1910 to 1936. So Georgian writers have also been called neo-romantics because of their attention to nature, both as a subject and as a catalyst for describing human experiences. So I think these 4 lines are also clear to you. Now come to the second part of the sonnet. The first part, which have 8 lines, it's called octave. Now sestet, last 6 lines. So, and think this, I will read again the last line, washed by rivers, blessed by son of home, and think this heart, all evil said away. A pulse in the eternal mind, no less, gives somewhere back to thoughts by England given. Her sights and sounds, dream happy as her day, and laughter, learnt of friend and gentleness, in heart at peace under an English heaven. So the death imagined in the first stanza has now occurred. What he was imagined in the first stanza, he imagined about his own death. Now death has occurred and we are presented with a concealed soul in the form of this heart. And think this heart now the person that has already passed away. This heart all evil said away, a pulse in the eternal mind. The life of soldier has been distilled to a life of goodness, and that life is owned to England. The speaker does not want others to mourn for him, but to remember him by upholding the principles for which he died. He also wants others to think of him as still being alive, a pulse in the eternal mind. A pulse in the eternal mind means he wants others to remember him. He wants to live in the memory of others. That's why he said a pulse in others' mind, a pulse in the eternal mind, and to know that somewhere, somehow, he is returning the thoughts, sights, sounds, dreams, and laughter that England had previously given him. And in the end, this poem celebrates the idea of self-sacrifice. According to dead soldier, it is honor to die for one's country, and no thought should be given to personal desire, because the desire of the soldier and the desire of country should be one. Desire of a person, soldier, and desire of a country should be one. They cannot be separated. That's why this poem was very famous among the soldiers, and this poem became the cause of nationalistic emotions in the soldiers. So the soldier, this sonnet borrowed both the Italian and Petrarchan sonnet tradition, and the both Petrarchan and English tradition sonnets, like a Petrarchan sonnet group divided this sonnet into two parts, octave and sestet. But this Brooks octave rhymed in the Elizabethan tradition with the different kind of rhyming scheme, and Brooke also departs from the traditional thematic relationship between the two parts of the sonnets. Whereas traditionally the octave states a problem or describes a situation, and at the sestet offers a resolution. Brooks' poem presents the same situation in both parts with little variation, asking the reader to imagine the death of a soldier in a particular way. So I think this is clear to all of you. Next, we will meet with another poem. Till then, thank you. Have a nice day.